What a courtroom comedy that was last Friday as it involved La'el Collins, at least in two regards. And now we know more about La'el Collins this week for the Cowboys as Dallas plays at the New England Patriots. Mike Fisher in Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys. I hesitated to put this in print because it's just so ridiculous. But I'll put it to you instead. We'll do it that way. Allegedly, we're told that in the courtroom last week, and I'm going to frame this just right. I'm going to frame it with a soft frame. I don't know exactly who said it. I don't know which side said it. I don't know exactly how it was said. But one way or the other, some people in the courtroom were left with the impression that La'el Collins maybe should be allowed to have played in the Week 5 game, visit from the Giants, because, first of all, he'd been wronged, which there's still no proof of. Second of all, because the Cowboys were going to play him had he shown up on Sunday. And third of all, again, allegedly, I'm not in the courtroom, I wasn't there, somebody suggested that he needs to be allowed to play because the Cowboys need him. They can't win, we're not going to win without him. Cowboys beat the Giants 44-20. There was never any plan on the Cowboys putting La'el Collins in a uniform last week. And again, pending more fighting in the courtroom, which I'll get to in a moment, there's no evidence that La'el Collins was wrong. There's no evidence for, and there's no reason for the test taker to be lying about a bribe. There's just no logic behind the lie. There's not much logic behind the bribe either. Dak Prescott testified last Friday for his friend and teammate La'el Collins, and he said, I never heard anybody bribe anybody. That's not strong enough. That I never heard anybody do it obviously doesn't mean it didn't happen. Speaking logically again, La'el Collins isn't going to do this in front of people if he did it at all. So now we move fast forward to Week 6, and Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan with Sean and RJ asked about La'el Collins this week. And I think you already knew the answer. He cannot show up on Saturday, get on the plane after being off for 5 weeks, and play on Sunday. That's, in my mind, preposterous. Even if Terrence Steele at right tackle wasn't surviving, or even better than that, that's simply not the way this is going to work. La'el Collins is probably not in the very, very best of shape after 5 weeks of sitting out. I would also suggest to you, he's now got 1 week left in his suspension. The only thing that he can go get now is money, and maybe that's worth it. But he can't go undo the games that have been done. Nor, in an us-against-them world, especially with his record with the NFL, and in the courtroom, the NFL put out a statement, they put it right there in the document, that La'el Collins has an unfortunate history in terms of his dealings with the NFL's substance abuse program. Those things are a matter of record, and it's really hard for La'el Collins to talk his way out of 4 or 5 years of history there by saying, no, it wasn't me, my hands are clean. The NFL, of course, as we know, doesn't exactly have clean hands in every regard either. Enter John Gruden. And maybe the NFLPA saying, hey, what else is in those emails from that involved the Washington football team? Maybe the commissioner ought to be interested in that. Maybe the cheerleaders in Washington ought to be interested in that. And then maybe the other owners ought to be interested in not letting any more emails out. La'el Collins was not going to ever play in Week 5. And now Jerry Jones is saying, as far as he's concerned, he's out for Week 6. Then the suspension ends, and then La'el Collins can hopefully show up and establish that he's been focusing on football for the previous 6 weeks and go help the Cowboys get through the bye and then continue on with victories. In Frisco, Cowboys headquarters. Fish out.